Captain Sarah Chen floated in the quiet cockpit of her small mining ship. Outside the window, thousands of stars shined in the endless darkness of space. She was alone, far away from Earth, collecting rare minerals from the asteroid belt. Sarah pressed a button on her control panel. The mining laser fired at a large rock floating nearby. Red light flashed. Small pieces of valuable metal broke free from the asteroid. Her collection net caught them automatically. Another good day, Sarah said to herself. She smiled and marked the location on her star map. Suddenly her radio made a strange noise. It was not the normal static sound. This was different. Sarah frowned and turned up the volume. "Hell, help," a small voice whispered through the speaker. Sarah's heart jumped. She sat up straight in her chair. "Hello? This is Captain Chen. Who is calling?" Silence. Then the voice came again. It was a child, a little girl. "Please, human, Mom is cold, so cold, she will die." Sarah's eyes went wide. A child, out here. That was impossible. She was 3 days away from the nearest space colony. No ships passed through this area. "Where are you?" Sarah asked quickly. "I can help you. Tell me your location." The radio went silent again. Sarah checked her scanners. Nothing. No ships, no signals, only rocks and empty space. Then she heard it. A sound that made her blood freeze. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Something was touching the outside of her ship. Sarah turned her head slowly toward the window, and she saw her. A small figure stood on the hull of Sarah's ship. It was a child, but not a human child. Her skin was bright purple. She had 2 large eyes, bigger than human eyes. They were full of tears. The little alien girl wore a damaged spacesuit. It had cracks and holes. She should be dead in the vacuum of space. But she was not dead. She was banging on the window with her small fists. Sarah could see the girl's mouth moving. She was crying, screaming. Her 3-fingered hands pressed against the glass. "Oh my God," Sarah whispered. She jumped from her chair and ran to the airlock. Her hands moved fast over the control buttons. The outer door opened. The little alien girl fell inside. Sarah closed the outer door and filled the airlock with air. 20 seconds. It felt like forever. When the inner door opened, the girl collapsed on the floor. She was shaking. Her whole body trembled like a leaf in the wind. Sarah knelt beside her. "It's okay. You're safe now. I've got you." The girl looked up at Sarah. Her big eyes were purple, like her skin. Tears rolled down her face. "Human," the girl said in broken English. You are human?" "Yes," Sarah said gently. "My name is Sarah. What's your name?" "Zira," the little girl said. Her voice was weak. "My name is Zira." "Okay, Zira. You're safe now. What happened? Where are your parents?" Zira's face broke into more tears. She grabbed Sarah's arm with surprising strength. "Mom, my mom is dying. Please, you must help her." Zira pointed toward the window. Sarah looked and saw a small alien ship crashed on a nearby asteroid. It was broken. Pieces of metal floated around it. Ice covered the entire hull. "Our ship crashed," Zira cried. 3 days ago. The power is gone. No heat, no warmth. Mom is freezing to death." Sarah felt confused. "Freezing? But space is always cold. How did you survive?" "Our species needs heat," Zira explained. Her small body shook. "We come from a hot planet. Very hot. We need 60 degrees to live. Below that, we freeze. We die." Sarah's mind raced. 60 degrees Celsius. That was 140 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to burn human skin. "Mom's temperature is dropping," Zira continued. "She can't move anymore. She told me to find help. She said humans are strong. Humans are warm-blooded. You can survive in the cold. Please, please save my mom." Sarah looked at the crashed ship through her window. It was at least 30 minutes away. She grabbed her telescope and looked closer. Through the broken hull, she could see a figure inside, a larger alien sitting in the pilot's chair, not moving. Sarah's stomach twisted. She looked at her equipment locker. One spare spacesuit. 4 hours of oxygen. Maybe enough time to get there and back. Maybe. But that ship looked dangerous, unstable. Parts of it were still breaking off. And what if she couldn't move the mother? What if she was too heavy? Sarah looked down at little Zira. The girl stared up at her with those big, hopeful eyes. "Please," Zira whispered. She grabbed Sarah's hand with her tiny 3-fingered grip. "Mum sang me songs every night. She told me stories. She can't die. Please don't let her die." Sarah felt her throat become tight. She thought about her own mother, far away on Earth. What if it was her mom out there? What if someone could save her? Sarah took a deep breath. She stood up and walked to the equipment locker. She pulled out the spacesuit. "I'll bring her back," Sarah said. "I promise." Zira's face filled with hope. Thank you, human." Sarah put on her helmet. The oxygen timer appeared on her screen, 4 hours, 0 minutes. She opened the airlock door. The cold darkness of space waited for her. Sarah jumped out into the void, floating toward the frozen tomb where a dying mother waited. Time was running out. Sarah floated through the darkness of space. Her breathing sounded loud inside her helmet, in and out, in and out. She tried to stay calm. Behind her, little Zira watched from the ship's window, her small purple hand pressed against the glass. Ahead, the crashed alien ship grew larger. Sarah checked her oxygen timer. It glowed on her helmet screen. 3 hours, 47 minutes remaining. "I can do this," Sarah whispered to herself. "Get in, get the mother, get out." The crashed ship looked worse up close. The metal hull had giant cracks running through it. One wing was completely torn off. Ice crystals covered every surface, sparkling in the starlight. Sarah found a large opening in the side. She grabbed the edge and pulled herself inside. The moment she entered, cold hit her like a wall. Her suit temperature sensor blinked. 50 degrees Celsius outside her suit. Everything inside the ship was frozen solid. Ice covered the walls like white paint. Frost hung from the ceiling in strange patterns. Sarah's breath created fog inside her helmet. She pushed forward through the narrow corridor. Her light cut through the darkness. She saw alien writing on the walls. Pictures of a warm planet with 2 suns. "Hello?" Sarah called out. "Can anyone hear me?" Silence. Only the sound of her own breathing. Sarah reached the cockpit. And there she was. The mother. She sat in the pilot's chair, completely still. Her body was much larger than Zira's, maybe 6 feet tall. Her skin was the same purple color, but it looked wrong, too pale, almost blue. Frost covered her face and arms. "Oh no," Sarah breathed. She moved closer. The woman's eyes were closed. Her lips had turned dark blue. Sarah pulled off her glove for just a moment and touched the alien's arm. Ice cold, like touching frozen metal. But then Sarah saw it. The smallest movement. The woman's chest rose slightly, then fell. She was breathing, barely. "You're alive," Sarah said. Okay, I can work with this." Sarah checked her suit computer. She scanned the alien woman's body temperature. 40 degrees Celsius. For a human, that temperature meant death. No human could survive being that cold. But this alien was still breathing, still fighting to live. Sarah grabbed the woman's shoulder and tried to lift her. She didn't move. Sarah pulled harder. Nothing. "Come on," Sarah grunted. She tried again, using all her strength. The woman was too heavy. Even in 0 gravity, her mass was enormous. Sarah guessed at least 300 pounds. Sarah's radio crackled. Zira's voice came through. "Sarah, did you find her? Is Mom okay?" "I found her," Sarah replied. "She's alive, but Zira, I need to know something important. What temperature does your mother need to survive?" 60 degrees, Zira said. "If she stays below 60 degrees for too long, her organs will stop. How long has she been cold?" Sarah looked at the frozen cockpit. 3 days, you said?" "Yes. She told me to leave yesterday. She said she was getting too weak." Sarah did the math in her head. 3 days in freezing temperature. The mother was dying slowly. "How much time does she have left?" Sarah asked. Zira's voice became quiet. "Maybe 1 hour, maybe less." 1 hour. Sarah's heart pounded. She looked at her oxygen. 3 hours, 15 minutes. Enough time to get back. "But what then?" Zira, listen carefully. "My ship can make heat, but only up to 25 degrees. That's comfortable for humans. Will that help your mother?" Silence on the radio. Then Zira spoke, her voice filled with fear. "No, that's still too cold. She needs 60 degrees or she dies." Sarah closed her eyes. Think. Her ship's heating system couldn't go that high. It wasn't designed for it, but she had other equipment. The mining lasers. They generated massive heat when cutting through asteroids. The metal pieces glowed red hot over 1,000 degrees. Could she use that? Heat up metal plates to warm a room? It was dangerous. Very dangerous. The lasers could overload, start a fire, even explode, but it might work. Sarah's arms burned with pain. She pulled the frozen alien mother through space, moving as fast as she could. Every second counted now. Her oxygen timer blinked red. 1 hour, 22 minutes. The leak in her suit was getting worse. She could hear it now. A soft hissing sound, her precious air escaping into the void. Come on, Sarah gasped. Her ship was so close now. Just 5 more minutes. Inside the ship, little Zira pressed her face against the window. She watched Sarah struggling in space. Her small hands trembled against the glass. Sarah finally reached her ship. She grabbed the airlock handle and pulled herself and the mother inside. Her fingers fumbled with the control panel. Close outer door. Fill with air. Open inner door. 20 seconds felt like 20 years. The inner door opened. Sarah dragged the mother's body into the cargo bay. Zira ran to them immediately. Mom, Zira cried. She touched her mother's frozen face. Please wake up, please. The mother didn't respond. Her eyes stayed closed. Her breathing was so weak, Sarah could barely see her chest moving. Sarah ripped off her damaged helmet. She gulped down fresh air. Sweat covered her face. Her hands shook from exhaustion. How much time? Sarah asked between breaths. Zira looked at a small device on her wrist. It showed alien numbers. Her core temperature is critical. Maybe 45 minutes. Maybe less. 45 minutes. Sarah checked the cargo bay temperature, 18 degrees Celsius. Comfortable for humans, freezing for Zira's species. Okay, Sarah said. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm sealing you both in here. I'm going to use my mining laser to heat metal plates. They'll glow hot and warm this room fast. Will it work? Zira asked. Her voice was small and scared. It has to, Sarah said. She ran to the control room. Her fingers flew over the buttons. She sealed the cargo bay door. She adjusted the mining laser controls. Maximum power. Aimed at the metal wall plates inside the cargo bay. Stand back from the walls. Sarah shouted through the intercom. She pressed the button. The laser fired. A bright red beam shot into the cargo bay. It hit the metal plates on the wall. Instantly, they began to glow. Sarah watched the temperature sensor. 18 degrees, 20 degrees, 23 degrees, 26 degrees. Come on, she whispered. Faster, 1 degrees, 33 degrees, 35 degrees, but it was too slow. At this rate, it would take 20 minutes to reach 60 degrees. The mother didn't have 20 minutes. Sarah made a decision. She increased the laser power. The control panel flashed a warning. Danger, excessive power level. She ignored it. She pushed the power to maximum. The laser beam became brighter. The metal plates started glowing orange instead of red. The temperature jumped, all degrees. 45 degrees, 50 degrees. More warnings flashed on Sarah's screen. Overheat risk, Fire danger. System critical. Sarah kept pushing. 55 degrees. 58 degrees. 60 degrees, yes, Sarah shouted, but then new alarms started blaring. Loud, urgent. Warning, laser core overload. Critical temperature exceeded. Meltdown in 3 minutes. Sarah's blood turned cold. The laser was going to explode, and when it did, it would destroy the entire ship. Everyone would die. She looked at the cargo bay camera. Through the smoke from the hot metal, she could see Zira holding her mother. The room was finally warm enough, but they needed more time. Just a few more minutes for the mother's body to warm up. If Sarah shut down the laser now, the temperature would drop. The mother would die. If she didn't shut it down, the laser would explode. Everyone would die. Meltdown in 2 minutes 30 seconds. Sarah's mind raced. There had to be a way. Some way to cool the laser without shutting it down completely. Then she remembered. The emergency coolant system. It was designed for small overheats, not something like this. But maybe, just maybe, it would buy them enough time. Meltdown in 2 minutes. Sarah ran down the corridor. Her legs felt like rubber. She reached the laser core room. Heat hit her face like opening an oven. The metal walls were too hot to touch. She found the coolant panel. She pulled the manual release lever. Nothing happened. No, Sarah screamed. She pulled again harder. The lever moved. Coolant fluid sprayed into the laser core. Steam filled the room. Sarah coughed and covered her face. Meltdown in 1 minute. The temperature gauge on the laser core was still rising. The coolant wasn't enough. Sarah looked around desperately. Then she saw it. The main water tank. The ship's drinking water supply. 500 gallons. If she released it all into the coolant system, it might work. But then they would have no drinking water. They were 3 days from the nearest station. They would die of thirst. Meltdown in 45 seconds. Sarah grabbed the water tank valve. Her hand froze on it. Suddenly a voice came through her radio, weak, barely a whisper. Human. Sarah looked at the cargo bay camera. The mother's eyes were open. Just barely. She was looking at the camera. Thank you, the mother whispered. Meltdown in 30 seconds. Sarah turned the valve. All 500 gallons of water flooded into the laser core. The temperature gauge dropped. Critical. Warning. Stabilizing. Meltdown in 15 seconds. The gauge dropped more. Cooling. Meltdown in 10 seconds. Sarah held her breath. System stabilized. Laser shut down complete. Sarah collapsed against the wall. Her legs gave out. She slid to the floor. Her hands were burned from the heat. Blisters covered her palms. But they were alive. The cargo bay temperature would hold at 60 degrees for at least an hour. Long enough for the mother to recover. Sarah closed her eyes. Her whole body shook. They had done it. Barely. Sarah sat on the floor outside the laser core room. Her burned hands rested in her lap. Pain shot through her palms with every heartbeat. But she was too tired to move. The ship was quiet now. No alarms, no warnings. Just the soft hum of the engines. Sarah looked at the water tank gauge. Empty. 0 gallons remaining. 3 days to the nearest station. Without water, a human could survive maybe 3 days. Maybe she had traded her life for theirs. A sound came from the cargo bay. Movement. Then a voice. Zira, my little star. Where are we? Sarah's head snapped up. The mother was awake. Truly awake, Sarah pulled herself to her feet. Her legs felt weak. She walked slowly to the cargo bay door and opened it. Inside, the temperature hit her like a physical force. 60 degrees Celsius. Hot enough to make her skin red. Sweat immediately covered her face, but she didn't care. Little Zira was wrapped in her mother's arms. Both of them were crying. Happy tears. The mother held her daughter close, rocking her gently. You're alive, the mother whispered. My brave girl, you saved us. Not me, Mom, Zira said. She pointed at Sarah, the human.
Sarah saved you.
She almost died. The mother turned her head. She looked at Sarah standing in the doorway. The mother's eyes were beautiful. Deep purple with flecks of gold, wise eyes. Ancient eyes. Her skin had returned to its healthy purple color. She sat up slowly, still weak but alive. Human, the mother said. Her voice was soft but strong. You risked everything for strangers. Sarah tried to smile. I couldn't let a mother die. Not when her daughter was crying for help. The mother stood on shaky legs. She was tall, at least 6 feet. She walked toward Sarah with careful steps. Zira held her hand, helping her stay steady. The mother knelt down in front of Sarah. They were eye to eye now. "Look at your hands," the mother said. She gently took Sarah's burned palms in her own. "You hurt yourself saving me." "It's okay," Sarah said. "Burns heal." The mother's eyes filled with tears. "Why? Why would you do this for people you don't know?" Sarah thought about the question. She looked at little Zira, who was watching her with those big, hopeful eyes. "Because it was right," Sarah said simply. "Because you needed help. That's enough reason." The mother touched Sarah's face gently with her three-fingered hand. "What is your name, human?" "Sarah Chen. I am Keela," the mother said. "And you, Sarah Chen, have shown me something I have never seen before in all my travels across the galaxy." "What's that?" Sarah asked. "True kindness," Keela said. "Kindness that costs everything and expects nothing." Keela stood up and walked to the window. She looked out at the stars. "My people are from a planet called Thermos 9. We are explorers. We travel the galaxy seeking knowledge and friendship." "What happened to your ship?" Sarah asked. Keela's face became sad. "We were attacked by space debris, an asteroid storm. Our engines failed. We crashed on that rock. 3 days we waited. 3 days in the freezing cold. I sent distress signals," Keela continued. 17 ships passed through this sector during those 3 days. 17 ships received our call for help." Sarah's eyes widened. "They didn't stop?" "No," Keela said quietly. "Not one. They said we were too far off the trade routes. They said helping us was too dangerous, too much trouble." Zira hugged her mother's leg. "I was so scared, Mom. You were getting colder." "You stopped talking. I thought you were going to die." Keela touched her daughter's head lovingly. "I told Zira to take the emergency pod, to find help. I didn't think anyone would come, but I wanted her to live." Sarah felt anger rise in her chest. 17 ships. They all just left you? "Yes," Keela said. She looked at Sarah. "Until you. A lone mining ship. One human. You didn't hesitate. You didn't think about the danger. You just acted." Sarah shrugged. "Anyone would have done the same." "No," Keela said firmly. "They wouldn't. 17 ships proved that." Keela walked closer to Sarah. "I must tell you something important. Something about my mission. My people, the Thermosians, we came to this galaxy seeking help." "Help with what?" Sarah asked. "Our planet is dying," Keela said. Her voice broke slightly. "Our sun is growing cold. Every year the temperature drops. In 50 years, Thermos 9 will be frozen. 3 billion of my people will die." Sarah felt her heart sink. "That's terrible." "We came to the Galactic Council," Keela continued. "We asked for help. We begged them to share their technology. Heat generators, fusion reactors, anything to warm our world. What did they say?" Sarah asked. "They refused," Keela said bitterly. "They said it was too expensive, too difficult. They said we should simply evacuate our planet and find a new home." 3 billion people, Sarah said. "That's impossible." "Exactly," Keela said. "We don't have enough ships. We don't have enough time. But the Council doesn't care. They see us as aliens, different, not worth the effort." Zira started crying again. "All my friends are on Thermos 9. My grandparents. My teachers. Everyone." Sarah felt a fire grow in her chest. Anger, frustration. How could anyone refuse to help? Keela placed both hands on Sarah's shoulders. "Sarah Chen, I want to ask you something. Something very important." "What is it?" Sarah asked. "Come with us to the Galactic Council," Keela said. "Let me show them what you did. Let me tell them about humanity, about how one human risked everything for 2 strangers." Sarah blinked in confusion. "I don't understand." "Why would that matter?" "Because," Keela said, her eyes burning with intensity. "If they see what humans are capable of, maybe they'll understand what real compassion looks like. Maybe they'll be ashamed of their own cruelty." "But I'm nobody," Sarah said. "Just a minor. I'm not important." "That's exactly why you're perfect," Keela said. "You're not a politician, not a hero, just a normal person who did an extraordinary thing." Zira grabbed Sarah's hand. "Please come with us. You can meet my people. They would love you." Sarah looked at her burned hands, then at the empty water tank gauge, then at Zira's hopeful face. "Okay," Sarah said. "I'll come." Keila smiled for the first time. A warm, genuine smile. "Thank you." You may have just saved more than 2 lives today, Sarah Chen. You may have saved an entire world. The journey to the Galactic Council took 3 days. Sarah kept her ship warm for Kayla and Zira. She wore light clothes and drank cold water to stay comfortable. Sweat covered her skin constantly, but she never complained. Zira noticed Sarah's discomfort. The little girl brought ice packs and placed them on Sarah's neck. "Thank you for being uncomfortable for us," Zira said softly. Sarah smiled. "It's okay. Friends take care of each other." On the 3rd day they arrived. Sarah looked out the window and gasped. The Galactic Council station was enormous. It looked like a city floating in space. Hundreds of ships surrounded it. Ships of all shapes and sizes. "So many species," Sarah whispered. "Over 300 different kinds," Kayla said. "All working together, or supposed to be working together." They docked at the station. Sarah put on a cooling vest to help with the heat. Together they walked through the corridors. Sarah saw aliens everywhere. Some had wings. Some had tentacles. Some glowed with inner light. Some were tiny. Some were giants. Everyone stared at Sarah, a human, here at the council. That was rare. They reached the council chamber. It was a massive round room with seats rising up in circles. Hundreds of aliens sat there, representing their species. At the center stood the council leader. He was huge, maybe 15 feet tall. His body was made of clear crystal. Light moved inside him like liquid rainbows. "Kayla of Thermos 9, the leader's voice boomed. "Why have you returned? We already gave you our answer. We cannot help your planet." Kayla stepped forward. "I have not come to beg again. I have come to show you something. Someone." She gestured to Sarah. "This is Captain Sarah Chen, a human from planet Earth." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Aliens whispered to each other. "A human?" the leader said. "They are a young species, barely in space. Why is she here?" "Because she did what none of you would do," Kayla said. Her voice was strong and clear. "She saved my life. She saved my daughter's life." Kayla told the story. She told them about the crash, about the 17 ships that passed by, about Sarah risking everything, about the oxygen leak, about the burned hands, about the water sacrifice. The chamber became silent. Every alien listened. Kayla pressed a button. A hologram appeared. It showed footage from her suit camera. The council watched Sarah dragging Kayla's frozen body through space. They watched Sarah's oxygen timer dropping. They watched the laser overload. They watched everything. When the hologram ended, the silence continued. Finally, one council member spoke. He looked like a giant insect with blue armor. "This is impressive, but it is just one human. It proves nothing about their species." Other council members agreed. One act of kindness means little. Sarah felt anger build in her chest. She stepped forward before Kayla could stop her. "You're right," Sarah said loudly. Her voice echoed through the chamber. "I'm just one person. I'm not special. I'm nobody important." The council leader looked down at her. "Then why are you here?" "Because you need to understand something," Sarah said. She walked to the center of the chamber. "I'm not special, but I'm also not unusual. On Earth, there are 8 billion people like me." "We don't all agree on everything," Sarah continued. "We fight sometimes. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. But we have something important." "What is that?" the leader asked. "We believe that all life is valuable," Sarah said. "We have a saying on Earth. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It means treat others the way you want to be treated." Sarah pointed at Kayla and Zira. "When I saw Zira crying, I didn't think about what species she was. I didn't think about what I would gain. I thought, what if that was my mother dying? What if that was my child crying?" She looked around at all the aliens. "Isn't that what being alive means? Caring about each other? Helping when someone needs help?" An alien in the back stood up. She looked like a tree with golden bark. "The human speaks with wisdom beyond her years." Another alien stood. He had 6 eyes and skin like water. Perhaps we have forgotten what compassion truly means. More aliens stood. One by one, dozens, then hundreds. The council leader raised his crystalline hand. Silence. Everyone sat down. He looked at Sarah for a long moment. "You shame us, young human. We who have traveled the stars for thousands of years. We are shamed by a species that barely left their own planet." He turned to the council. "I propose we send aid to Thermos 9. We will build heat generators for their planet." "Who agrees?" Hands raised. Tentacles lifted. Wings spread. Every single council member voted yes. Kayla fell to her knees. Tears streamed down her face. Thank you. Thank you. Zira ran to Sarah and hugged her legs. You saved us. You saved everyone. The council leader came down from his platform. He stood before Sarah. We have another proposal, Captain Chen. What is it? Sarah asked. We want to create the first contact rescue program, he said. Humans will train other species in emergency response and compassion. Your planet will become a teaching world. Sarah's eyes widened. You want humans to teach the galaxy? Yes, the leader said. Because you understand something we forgot. That kindness is not weakness. That sacrifice is not foolishness. That every life matters. He placed his large, crystalline hand on Sarah's shoulder. Go back to Earth, Captain Chen. Tell your people what happened here. Tell them the galaxy needs them. Sarah felt tears in her own eyes. I will. 6 months passed. Sarah stood in her small apartment on Earth. She looked at her computer screen. A video message was playing. Zira's face appeared. She was standing on Thermos 9. Behind her, the sun shined bright and warm. The sky was purple and beautiful. Sarah! Zira said happily. Look, the generators are working. Our planet is saved. The temperature is perfect now. Kayla appeared beside Zira. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for everything. You gave us our future back. Mom says I can visit Earth next year. Zira said excitedly. I want to see snow. Frozen water that doesn't kill you. Can you believe it? Sarah laughed. I can't wait to show you. The video ended. Sarah walked to her window. She looked up at the night sky. Thousands of stars shined above. Somewhere out there, an entire planet was alive because of one choice. One moment of kindness. Sarah smiled. She whispered to the stars. I was just a miner who helped a little girl. But sometimes that's all it takes. One act of kindness can change everything. She touched the window glass. One person can change the galaxy. And somewhere, across the vast darkness of space, 3 billion Thermosians looked up at their warming sun and thanked the stars for humans. The end.